Hello. Today is Friday, January 17th, 2025. This is a sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker, coming to you from Lexington, Kentucky, USA. And we're here today on Friday. The weather in this area today, the high will be 48 degrees. Currently, it is 25 and feels like 18. Times of sun and clouds today, highs in the upper 40s and lows in the low 40s. Rain expected overnight in this area, 90% chance of that. And the burning question, or the cold question, will the South see more wintry weather next week? Today in this area, sunrise was at 7:51 a.m. Sunset will be at 5:44 p.m. Wind 5 miles per hour, and the AQI is moderate at 74. To quote Fox weather meteorologist Britta Merwin, perfect time to hop on a plane and go somewhere south, like really, really far south. Again, this is a sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker, and if you're watching, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I would say that here we are on Friday, the weekend, first month of 2025, January, that probably since the pandemic and things have settled down since then, that we as people have seen a lot of first-time events. That being said, we're about to get into another era of presidency here in the United States, but it reminds me of something that's usually relayed as a joke when you're coming up and your parents are disciplining you about the company you keep. And whatever way you may have heard it, I'm sure you've heard some version of it. Just because Johnny's going to jump off a cliff, does that mean you're going to jump off a cliff too? Some of you might see the humor in that. Anyway, getting back to the show. I was talking about OSHA on the previous program and working in the cold weather. And that being said, right now we're going through a period that only really occurs in the wintertime like this, maybe every 10 years. In this region, Kentucky, the last time we had the previous times that we've had storms similar to this one that we just went through, 2003, 2015, and now 2024, or ergo 2025. And that's like every 10-year cycle. So it's not a regular thing for our winters to be this extreme, but here we are in our 10-year cycle. So I was talking about working outdoors and made a quote from OSHA. I said that they didn't have a standard for cold weather work. Well, that's not exactly true. OSHA, it was so extreme that I just decided not to use it, but OSHA says not to work outside if the temperatures are negative 30 degrees to negative 35 degrees. And I didn't include that because I didn't think of any place where those temperatures would apply at the time. So, research shows this. Temperatures reaching negative 30 to negative 35 degrees on Earth are primarily found in the polar regions, specifically in the interior of Antarctica, where extremely cold temperatures can occur during the winter months, with some areas regularly experiencing temperatures dropping below negative 30 degrees Celsius, which translate to negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit. So, I just wanted to clear that up a little bit, not put OSHA on alert, so to speak. And the cold weather forecast for next week, coming out of the Arctic, across Siberia into Canada, and down into the United States, referred to as an Arctic blast. So stand by to stand by. On another note, something to think about, considering everything that's been going on in California prior to the fires. There have been several remarks made by some political figures about the relationship between Mexico and the U.S., and some jokes that included California in the conversation prior to the wildfires. So let's put a little light on that for a moment. Again, if we check our history, research reminds us of this bit of information. Yes, California originally belonged to Spain, as Spanish explorers first claimed the land in the 16th century and established settlements and missions throughout the region, effectively ruling California until Mexico gained independence from Spain in 1821, at which point California became part of Mexico. And footnote, California became part of the United States in 1841. Just so you know. Monday, Inauguration Day for President-elect Donald Trump. I was looking over the schedules and arrangements, and it goes on for pages. What jumps into my mind as hard as Chinese arithmetic, you know, that little rack thing where they slide the beads back and forth and all that kind of stuff. Confusing if you're not educated. So anyway, between stops being not acknowledged on the rail system, no on and off on certain stops, straight through on others, street closings, they were very kind enough to make it very detailed. So I'm just like capsulizing it. They do include the details so you don't get confused and end up even more confused, so to speak. So between street closings, rail transportation, what's going on in the Capitol, the parade, early morning inauguration, I think 2:30 parade to be over. And in the early part of the afternoon, President Joe Biden will be welcoming or exchanging with President Donald Trump, so that by Monday evening, it will all be said and done as far as that part of the inauguration is concerned. So what I thought I would do, take a different perspective of it. DC being what it is, Washington, the nation's capital. The inauguration. 12 things you probably do not know about presidential inaugurations. So let's start out. Number 1, Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th U.S. president, but will be only the 40th president to give an inaugural address. Next one, all but 2 elected presidents took the oath of office in Washington, D.C. Number 3, the presidential oath of office is written into the U.S. Constitution. And number 4, one person has both taken the presidential oath of office and administered it. Number 5, the Supreme Court Justice John Roberts will be administering the presidential oath of office for the 5th time. Number 6, more presidents have been inaugurated in March than in January. Number 7, John F. Kennedy was the last president to wear a top hat to his inauguration. Number 8, Lyndon B. Johnson was the first president to ask his wife to hold the Bible while he took the oath of office. Number 9, the inauguration of James Buchanan on March 4th, 1857, is the first one known to have been photographed. Number 10, the coldest inauguration day was Ronald Reagan's second inauguration. Number 11, this year's inauguration will be just the second to fall on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And number 12, the shortest inaugural address was a lot shorter than this blog post. George Washington's second inaugural address ran just 135 words, or about the length of 2 recitations of the Lord's Prayer. This post, by comparison, runs 1,504 words and is brought to you by the Council on Foreign Relations, post by James M. Lindsay, author. I just included the topic heads for the 12 things, but there were details and paragraphs filling in the information related to the comments. So that's why you're looking at 1,504 words from James M. Lindsay, Council on Foreign Relations. The inauguration 2025. Now, on to our top stories for Friday, January 17, 2025. Number 1, Barbie, doll of Aaliyah, sells out on late R&B star's birthday. Next, these 5 Republicans are ready to derail Trump's tax cuts over the SALT cap. Next one, Bollywood star Ali Khan stabbed at Mumbai home, knife successfully removed from spine. Next, man sought after, so I raped you Facebook message extradited to U.S. Next one, Lady Gaga, Billie Eilish, Joni Mitchell to perform at Fire Aid benefit in L.A. How to watch. Number 6, polar vortex set to freeze the U.S. as far as the deep south. How many times can you say it? Which reminds me, excuse me, chain grocery stores usually restock on Saturdays and Tuesdays. As they say, a word to the wise should be sufficient. Saturdays and Tuesdays are the days that they usually restock. Number 7, FDA officially authorizes Zen nicotine pouches for sale following health review. Number 8, billionaire BFF, Bezos and Musk trade compliments and stepbrothers memes after rocket launches. United Health Group aims to get back to business after CEO murder. And number 10, Trump Vance portraits released ahead of Inauguration Day 2025. See photos. And as they say, and so forth and so on. Moving on to Monday, January 20th, 2025. That's it. Hashtag